The bass thundered through my chest as I pressed myself against the velvet curtain, every muscle locked in place. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't process what I was hearing. Fine. Whoever makes the Omega fall for them first wins the company merger. Ji-hoon's voice was ice, smooth, calculated, lethal. The kind of voice that signed million-dollar deals without flinching. I'd heard it before, always from a distance, always wondering what it would sound like up close. Now I knew. And I wished I didn't. Taeyong's laugh cut through the music, dark and rich like expensive whiskey. You're uncomfortable. Minjun won't be able to resist me. 3 months, and he'll be begging to be mine. Minjun. They were talking about me. My hands trembled as I clutched my serving tray. I'd only ducked behind this VIP booth curtain to catch my breath, to escape the overwhelming sense of ALPHAS and alcohol saturating Club Azure's top floor. My manager had warned me about working the VIP section. Too many entitled alphas, too much money, too much danger for an unmated Omega. But the tips were incredible and Mom's hospital bills weren't getting any smaller. He's too smart for you, Ji-hoon continued, ice clinking in his glass. Minjun sees right through cheap tricks. This will require strategy. And you think corporate flowers and expensive dinners will work? Please. Taeyong's tone dripped with condescension. I've watched him for months. He likes authenticity, not your silver spoon bullshit. My stomach twisted. Months? How long had they been watching me? Gentlemen's rules, Ji-hoon said. No forcing, no marking without consent. Whoever he chooses willingly wins the merger and full control of the Gangnam district development. Deal. The sound of glasses clinking sealed my fate like a death sentence. I stumbled backward, my serving tray clattering against the wall. The curtain rustled. I ran. The November air bit at my face as I burst onto the street, still wearing my server uniform, black slacks and a white button-down that reeked of alpha pheromones. My hands shook so badly I could barely pull out my phone to text Sua. Emergency. Need you. 3 dots appeared immediately. On my way. Your place? I couldn't go home. Not yet. Not until I figured out what the hell to do. Kang Ji-hoon and Park Taeyong, 2 of Seoul's most powerful alphas, had made me the centerpiece of their twisted game. Ji-hoon, the 28-year-old CEO whose tech company was revolutionizing Korea. Taeyong, who owned half the underground clubs in Gangnam and probably half the illegal operations too. And somehow, I'd caught both their attention. Minjun SSI. I spun around, heart jackhammering. A black Mercedes had pulled up to the curb, window rolling down to reveal a face I'd only seen in business magazines and across crowded club floors. Kang Ji-hoon. He was devastatingly beautiful in person, sharp jawline, dark eyes that seemed to calculate everything, perfectly styled black hair. His scent hit me even through the car window, cedar and rain, crisp and overwhelming. My Omega instincts screamed at me to submit, to lean closer, to trust him. I took a step back instead. You look cold, he said, voice smooth as silk. Let me drive you home. I'm fine. My voice came out steadier than I felt. It's 2 a.m. and you're standing outside a club in Gangnam. You're not fine. He opened the passenger door from inside. Please. I insist. Every nerve in my body screamed danger. But I thought about the bet, about their rules. Whoever he chooses willingly. They wanted to play games? Fine. I'd play. But they'd be playing mine. I slid into the Mercedes, and Ji-hoon's scent enveloped me like a drug. He drove in silence, classical music playing softly through premium speakers. I watched Seoul's lights blur past, trying to ignore how perfectly the heated leather seat conformed to my body, how safe I felt despite knowing this man saw me as a prize to be won. You work hard, Ji-hoon said finally, eyes on the road. University during the day, 2 part-time jobs at night. Your mother's hospital bills must be substantial. My blood ran cold. How do you know about my mother? I make it my business to know things. He glanced at me, expression unreadable. Especially about people who interest me. I'm not interested in being anyone's business. No. The corner of his mouth lifted slightly. Then why did you get in my car, Minjun Sasai? Because I heard your bet. Because I know exactly what you're doing. Because I'm going to make you regret ever looking at me. You offered, I said instead. It would be rude to refuse. We pulled up to my shabby apartment building in Mapogu, a stark contrast to the Gangnam luxury we'd left behind. Ji-hoon put the car in park but didn't unlock the doors. "Have dinner with me tomorrow," he said. It wasn't a question. "I work tomorrow. Then breakfast. Or lunch. Or coffee." His dark eyes fixed on mine, intense and patient. "I don't give up easily, Minjun Sasai." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Hope you got home safe. Dream of me. Taeyang." Of course he had my number. He probably had everything. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened as he glanced at my screen. "I see I have competition." "You have nothing," I said, opening the door. "Good night, Ji-hoon Sasai." I was halfway to my building when his window rolled down. "Minjun SSI? One more thing." I turned back. "May the best alpha win." His smile was razor-sharp and utterly confident as he drove away, leaving me standing in the cold with 2 alpha cents clinging to my clothes and a war I hadn't asked for burning at my doorstep. Suo was going to kill me. But first, I had to figure out how to destroy them both. The contract sat on Ji-hoon's glass desk like a coiled snake, each typed clause another layer of poison wrapped in expensive legal paper. 3 months, Ji-hoon said, standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse. The Han River glittered below us, soul spreading out like a kingdom he owned. Be my boyfriend. Attend events, stay at my place on weekends, convince everyone we're madly in love. I forced myself to look at the number at the bottom of the page. 50 million won. Exactly enough to cover Mom's surgery and 6 months of recovery care. Why me? My voice sounded hollow in the massive space. He turned, backlit by the city lights, and for a moment I saw something flicker across his face. Loneliness, maybe. Or calculations so deep it mimicked emotion. "Because you're perfect," he said simply. "Smart, beautiful, and you need what I'm offering. It's a clean transaction." Nothing about this was clean. Not the bed I wasn't supposed to know about, not the way my omega hummed in contentment around his scent, not the fact that I'd spent the last 3 days pretending I didn't know exactly what game he was playing. "I need to think about it," I said, even though we both knew I'd already decided. Mom's doctor had called yesterday. Without the surgery within 2 months, her prognosis was grim. Ji-hoon's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, expression darkening. "Take your time, Minjun SSI. But not too much time." My own phone vibrated in my pocket. A text from Taeyang. "Emergency. I have to go," I said, standing. Ji-hoon's eyes narrowed. "To see him? That's none of your business." "It will be," he said softly, "when you sign that contract." Taeyang's office looked like a war zone. Overturned furniture, shattered glass, and blood, so much blood, splattered across the marble floor. He sat slumped in his chair, white shirt torn and stained crimson, a gash above his eyebrows still bleeding. "Oh my God." I rushed forward, my server training kicking in as I grabbed the first aid kit from his desk drawer. Everyone who worked at Club Azure knew where it was. "What happened?" "Business disagreement." His voice was rough, strained. His usual swagger had evaporated, leaving something raw and human underneath. "The Kim family thinks they can muscle in on my territory." I pressed gauze to his forehead, and he hissed in pain. Up close, his scent, smoke and honey, was overwhelming, mixing with the copper tang of blood. My hands shook as I cleaned the wound. "You need a hospital." "I need you." His hand shot up, gripping my wrist with surprising strength. His eyes, usually dancing with mischief, were desperate. "Stay with me tonight, please." "I can't." He broke off, looking away. "I can't be alone right now." This was wrong. Everything about this was wrong. Taeyang was supposed to be the dangerous one, the underground king who played with people's lives. Not this broken alpha bleeding in my hands. "Okay," I whispered. "I'll stay." I woke up on Taeyang's leather couch, his jacket draped over me like a blanket. Morning light filtered through the office windows. My phone screen showed 15 missed calls from Suwa and 3 texts from Ji-hoon asking if I'd made my decision. The shower was running. I should leave. I should run back to my apartment and hide from both of these alphas who were systematically dismantling every wall I'd built around my heart. Instead, I found myself in his private kitchen, making coffee with expensive beans I'd never be able to afford. "You stayed." Taeyang appeared in the doorway, hair wet, wearing clean clothes. The bandage on his forehead was stark white against his tan skin. I said I would. People don't usually keep their promises to me. He took the coffee mug I offered, our fingers brushing. Thank you. For last night. For this. Why are you doing this? The question burst out before I could stop it. Why me, Tiang? You could have anyone. He set down the mug, stepping closer. His scent wrapped around me, and my omega preened despite my better judgment. Because you see me. Not the club owner, not the dangerous alpha everyone warns you about. You see me. I don't even know you. Then let me show you. His hand cupped my face, thumb brushing my cheekbone. No games, Minjun. Just let me try. My phone buzzed. Sua's name flashed on the screen. We need to talk. Found something about Ji-hoon's contract. This bad. Sua's apartment was a 10-minute subway ride from Taeyang's club. She opened the door before I could knock, dragging me inside with frantic energy. You cannot sign that contract, she said, shoving her laptop in my face. Look. Legal documents filled the screen. But not the contract Ji-hoon had shown me, a different one. A real one, between Kong Industries and Park Entertainment Holdings. The merger clause, Sua said, highlighting a section. Whoever successfully courts and maintains a relationship with an omega of pure bloodline for 3 consecutive months gains controlling interest in the Gangnam development project. The omega's identity is specified here. She scrolled down. Minjun of the Moon River Pack. My vision blurred. How did you find this? My cousin works in corporate law. She owed me a favor. Sua gripped my shoulders. Minjun, this isn't about helping your mom. Ji-hoon needs you to win a business deal. And Taeyang, she pulled up another document. He needs the same thing. They're both using you. The bet. It was all true. Every smile, every concerned look, every moment I'd thought maybe, just maybe, one of them actually cared. My heat's coming early, I said numbly. My suppressants had been failing for weeks, stress accelerating everything. I can feel it. Then you need to disappear. Before. My phone rang. Ji-hoon's name appeared on the screen. Before I could decide whether to answer, another call came through. Taeyang. They were both calling. Both circling. And I was trapped between 2 alphas who saw me as nothing more than a prize to be won. The first cramp hit during the appetizer course. I gripped the edge of Ji-hoon's private dining room table, fighting to keep my expression neutral as fire licked through my veins. The suppressants I'd taken that morning were useless. My heat had decided 3 weeks early was the perfect time to destroy my life. Minjun SSI. Ji-hoon's voice seemed to come from underwater. Are you all right? Then my scent hit the air. His pupils dilated instantly, nostrils flaring. The crystal wine glass in his hand cracked under the pressure of his grip. Cedar and rain exploded around me, his alpha responding to my omega's call with primal intensity. We need to leave, he growled, already standing. Now. I couldn't think. Couldn't breathe. My skin felt too tight, too hot, and Ji-hoon's scent was making everything worse and better and I needed. His hand closed around mine, and electricity shot through my entire body. We were moving, through the restaurant's back exit, into his car, the world blurring into streaks of light and sensation. His scent filled the enclosed space, and I heard myself whimper. Hold on, Ji-hoon said, voice strained. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. There's a hotel nearby. I'll help you through it. I promise. You don't have to. Another cramp cut off my words. Slick was already soaking through my clothes. The humiliation would come later. Right now, I just needed it to stop. I want to. His hand found mine again, squeezed. Let me take care of you. We were 5 blocks from the hotel when the motorcycle cut us off. Ji-hoon slammed the brakes. I lurched forward against the seatbelt, my heat-addled brain struggling to process what was happening. The motorcycle's rider dismounted, yanking off his helmet to reveal furious features I knew too well. Taeyang. Get away from him. Taeyang snarled, yanking open my door. Smoke and honey crashed over me like a wave, mixing with Ji-hoon's cedar and rain until I couldn't tell where one scent ended and another began. My omega was screaming, desperate for both. He's with me, Ji-hoon said, voice deadly calm as he exited the car. Back off, Park. He's coming with me. Taeyong's hands were gentle as he unbuckled my seatbelt, despite the violence in his voice. You've done enough damage. I'll kill you before I let you touch him. They were going to fight. Right here on this Gangnam street, two alphas about to tear each other apart over me. Some distant part of my brain knew I should stop this. But the heat was consuming everything, and their combined scents were driving me insane. Please, I gasped. I can't, I need. Both of them froze, looking at me with identical expressions of concern and hunger. My apartment, I managed. It's closer. Please just. I would never remember how we got to my shabby Mapogu apartment. One moment I was being lifted onto Taeyong's motorcycle, Jihoon's Mercedes following close behind. The next, I was on my bed, burning alive, and two alphas were stripping away my sweat-soaked clothes with trembling hands. We shouldn't both be here, Jihoon said, but he didn't move away. This is insane. You want to leave him like this? Taeyong challenged, pressing a cool cloth to my forehead. Then go. Neither of them left. What happened next shattered every rule, every boundary, every wall I'd built. Jihoon held me from behind, solid and sure, whispering promises in my ear while his hands mapped my body with reverent precision. Taeyong kissed away my tears, his usual cockiness replaced with devastating tenderness. They worked together, these two rival alphas who'd bet on my heart, coordinating with the ease of practiced lovers to ease my suffering. When the worst of the heat broke near dawn, I was wrapped between them, marked with their scents but not their bites, claimed but not bound. Sleep, Jihoon murmured against my hair. We've got you. Taeyong's arm tightened around my waist. You're safe, Minjun. I promise. I believed them. God help me, I believed them both. Morning came with the sound of my phone ringing. Sua's face filled the screen, and I answered before remembering I was naked, tangled between two sleeping alphas. Turn on the news, she said without preamble. Her voice was shaking. Minjun, I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. The TV remote was on my nightstand. I fumbled for it, my movement waking Jihoon. He sat up instantly, alert, then froze as the news anchor's voice filled my tiny apartment. Scandal rocking Gangnam's business elite. CEO Kang Jihoon's secret Omega boyfriend revealed to be part of elaborate corporate bet. Photos of me flashed across the screen. Entering Jihoon's building. Leaving Taeyong's club. The contract Sua had found, displayed in humiliating detail. Taeyong jerked awake. What the fuck? My phone rang again. Her face was tear-stained when I answered. Baby, there are reporters at the hospital, she sobbed. They're saying terrible things. They're asking about money, about contracts. Minjun, what's happening? The bottom dropped out of my world. I have to go, I said numbly, ending the call. Another notification popped up. Club Azure had been raided, Taeyong's business license suspended pending investigation into inappropriate relationships with employees. Minjun, Jihoon started. Get out. My voice didn't sound like mine. Both of you, get out of my apartment. Let me explain. Explain what? I laughed and it came out broken. That this was all a game? That my mother's health, my job, my entire life, it was all just pieces on your chessboard. I grabbed clothes, not caring what I put on. Sua sent me the real contract. I know about the bet. I've known since the beginning. Taeyong's face went white. You knew. I heard you. That first night at Club Azure. Tears burned my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. I thought, God, I actually thought maybe you'd both started to care. That the bet didn't matter anymore. But you're still playing, aren't you? Even now. No, Jihoon said firmly. Minjun, it stopped being about the bet. My mother is being harassed. Taeyong's club is shut down. Your company is bleeding money. And I'm the Omega whore who destroyed it all. I headed for the door. Congratulations. Neither of you won. Hope it was worth it. I left them there, two alphas in my unmade bed, and walked out into the wreckage of my life. The warehouse smelled like oil and desperation. I'd followed Taeyong here after getting Sua's frantic text. He's doing something stupid. Warehouse in Seongsadong. Hurry. 3 days had passed since I'd walked out of my apartment, 3 days of hiding at Sua's place while the media circus destroyed everything I'd ever worked for. The university had suggested I take a leave of absence. Both my part-time jobs had fired me. And Mom had checked herself out of the hospital, refusing treatment she thought was bought with shame. I pressed myself against the corrugated metal wall, listening. Just walk away. Ji-hoon's voice, usually so controlled, was ragged. I'll protect him. I have the resources, the lawyers. You've lost your club, your reputation. And whose fault is that? Taeyong's bitter laugh echoed through the space. We both did this. We both destroyed him. Then let me fix it. Alone. You still think this is about the bet? Taeyong's voice cracked. You still think I'm playing? I love him, you bastard. I love Minjun so much it's killing me, and you want me to just disappear? Silence. Then Ji-hoon's response, quiet and broken. So do I. My heart stopped. The world tilted sideways, and suddenly I was 16 again, reading romance novels and believing in fairy tales. But this wasn't a fairy tale. This was two alphas who'd started with a bet and ended with something that looked dangerously like truth. It doesn't matter, Ji-hoon continued. Our fathers orchestrated this entire thing. The bet, the merger clause, all of it, they were testing us. Seeing if we'd be weak enough to actually fall for an omega. We failed their test, Taeyong. And now they're demanding Minjun disappear, or they'll make sure his mother never receives medical care anywhere in Korea. I stopped breathing. They threatened her? Taeyong's voice went deadly quiet. Mine did. I assume yours did too. Papers rustled. They've already drafted the NDA. $500 million for Minjun to leave Seoul, change his name, never contact either of us again. They called him a complication that needs resolving. I'll kill them. Taeyong's words were simple, factual. I'll kill both our fathers before I let them touch him. Or we walk away first, Ji-hoon said softly. We lose everything. The companies, the money, the power, and we find him. Together. We make this right. I couldn't listen anymore. I stepped around the corner, and both alphas froze. Minjun, they said simultaneously. Your fathers think I'm a complication? My voice was steel. Fine. Let me show them what a real complication looks like. The shareholder meeting was in 2 hours. Ji-hoon had tried to stop me, had literally blocked my path in his building's lobby, but I'd pushed past him with a strength I didn't know I possessed. You'll destroy everything, he'd said desperately. My company, my reputation. Good, I'd replied. You destroyed mine first. Now I stood outside the conference room, wearing the only suit I owned, cheap, ill-fitting, bought for job interviews I'd never gotten. Inside, Korea's business elite waited to hear Ji-hoon's explanation for the scandal that had rocked Gangnam's corporate world. Taeyong appeared beside me, somehow having tracked me here. He looked different, hair unstyled, designer clothes replaced with jeans and a leather jacket. More real. More him. You don't have to do this, he said. Yes, I do. Then let us stand with you. Ji-hoon emerged from a side hallway, and my breath caught. He'd changed too, no tie, shirt wrinkled, shadows under his eyes like he hadn't slept in days. He looked at me the way a drowning man looks at shore. Together. Ji-hoon asked quietly, offering his hand. I looked at both of them, these two alphas who'd bet on my heart and lost everything trying to win it for real. The bet had brought us together in the ugliest way possible. But maybe, just maybe, the truth could set us all free. I took Ji-hoon's hand. Then Taeyong's. Together. The conference room fell silent as I walked in, flanked by both alphas. Cameras flashed. Shareholders whispered. At the head of the table, Ji-hoon's father, silver-haired and cold-eyed, looked at me like I was something he'd scraped off his shoe. This is a private meeting, he said icily. Then you should have kept your private bet private. I pulled out the documents Suwa had found, slamming them on the table. You wanted to test your sons? See if they were weak enough to fall for an omega? Congratulations. They failed spectacularly. Gasps rippled through the room. Ji-hoon's father stood, face reddening. You have no right. I have every right. You made me a pawn in your game, and now I'm flipping the board. I looked at Ji-hoon. Tell them everything. Ji-hoon stepped forward, and I saw the exact moment he chose me over everything else. The merger, the bet, the manipulation, all of it was orchestrated by our fathers to prove we'd choose business over weakness. They were wrong. I choose Minjun. Over this company, this family, everything. You'll have nothing, his father spat. I'll have him. Ji-hoon's hand found mine. That's enough. Taeyong moved to my other side. Same here. My club's already gone. Might as well lose the rest. I looked at the shocked faces around the table, powerful people who'd never expected an Omega to have a voice, much less use it. I'm leaving Seoul, I said clearly. My mother and I are going to Jeju Island, where we can recover from this mess in peace. If either of these alphas want to follow me, they'll do it with nothing. No money, no power, no safety net. Just them. I walked out, leaving chaos behind. 2 weeks later, Jeju Island. I was helping Mom plant flowers in our small rental garden when I smelled them. Cedar and rain, smoke and honey, carried on the ocean breeze. They stood at the gate, both wearing ordinary clothes, carrying backpacks like college students. Ji-hoon's hands were blistered. He'd clearly never done manual labor in his life. Taeyong's usual swagger was gone, replaced by nervous hope. We quit everything, Ji-hoon said simply. We're nobody now. Just two alphas who love you more than anything else in this world, Taeyong finished. Mom looked up from her flowers, then at me. Are these the boys? Yes. She smiled. Then invite them in. They look hungry. I crossed the garden to where they stood, my heart full of something that felt dangerously like forgiveness. The bet's over. You both lost. No, Ji-hoon said softly, pulling me close. We won. We just didn't know what the prize really was. Taeyong wrapped his arms around both of us. Took us long enough to figure it out. Standing there between them, the ocean wind tangling our scents together, I finally understood. They hadn't won me. We'd won each other. All three of us, battered and broke and finally, impossibly free. Welcome home, I whispered, and meant it.